Hello everybody and welcome to CFO Conversations. I'm your host Paula Kensington and it's a great pleasure to welcome back Rachel White, who's with us today. Today we are exploring a concept that maybe not everybody's heard of, the cost of retention of a customer versus the cost of acquiring a new customer. And it's something that I think in today's world is very much about a CFO being across the whole of business, and a lot of these measures may have been driven out of the service industry, as we've discussed before. But as CFOs, we really need to get comfortable with knowing what these terms mean. And I know Rachel has really played in this space a lot. So over to her to demystify what the cost of retention versus the cost of acquisition actually means for us.
Thanks, Paula. To start with, I'm going to ask you a question. Did you, when you did your accounting at university, learn all about the cost of manufacturing and shipping a widget?
Absolutely.
Does that sound familiar? I'm pretty sure they're actually still teaching that in universities. I don't know anyone in Australia is really using it too much in terms of, I'm sure there is a certain amount of manufacturing going on, but it's not, for most people who go into finance now, it's services industry, and then as a growing pool, very much those going into technology industries. One of the things that the technology industry has disrupted, it's not just the technology, it's not just Elon Musk building great big batteries down in South Australia and muscle cars which don't need petrol. It is also the business models themselves which are being very heavily disrupted. What do I mean by that? In the past it was all about how much it cost you to manufacture an item, how many of them could you manufacture at the lowest unit cost, and then more importantly, marketing's job was to create a demand for that product and sales job was to sell to it. And that was what all of your metrics were measured around, and that was what we were all taught.
Yep.
The thing with technology is you build once and deliver an infinite number of times. Your capacity is only limited by your ability to communicate and reach and engage with prospective customers and keep them coming back. So all of a sudden, your ROI is no longer around manufacturing and plants and factory equipment and all of those things, and even your entire supply chain. It's actually now very much around how do you reach a customer, a prospective customer in a very noisy world. And then more importantly, how do you keep them coming back? I think we all know intuitively it's a lot cheaper to sell to an existing customer than a new one. Funnily enough, it's not something we've really ever measured a lot.
Yeah, I think that's right. I mean, as CFOs and finance leaders, you talk about being vulnerable and perhaps having that curious mind that says, I don't know all the answers. And as you say, it's being disrupted all the time. We don't have years, thousands of years of history in terms of the new model. So we are making it up a bit on the go.
We are somewhat making it up as we go, yes. And one of the questions I often get asked is, so can you tell me if my lifetime value versus cost of acquisition is 2 times versus 5 times, what does that mean? And my question is always looking at your long-term cash flow projections. How long is it taking you to recover your cost of acquisition, so the cost of acquiring a new customer? And what does that do to your cash flow models? What does that do to your funding? There's one thing that hasn't changed, which is positive cash flow is a much stronger position to be in than negative cash flow. That has not changed. Yeah. And in the technology industry, that cost of acquisition is the biggest killer of tech business models on earth. It really is, because people manage their understanding of who will actually even want their product in the first place. Just because you have a better mousetrap does not mean people will come. Yeah. And so I think the first thing for CFOs who are approaching this is first to come with a learning mindset, to realise that absolute answers don't actually exist yet. And that's actually okay, because that's where a lot of the learning comes. And it's actually an opportunity for you to be a leader in your management team, because they're actually looking to you to understand this stuff, and especially to de-risk the business on the cash flow side of things. And if you do that well, to enhance your position in that management team, and especially with the board, is huge, because they're learning this stuff as well. And so I think it's a real opportunity, if you can take a learning mindset in this, to build your position in the management team of the business for which you are CFO.
So what you're saying really, I think, is what we've known for a long time, that cash is still king.
Always.
And we can be disruptive, and we need to be agile in our thinking. Absolutely. So cost of retention versus cost of acquisition, it's a great subject. Thank you, Rachel, for your time.
Thanks, Paula.